Hi, I'm Scott for ediblemusic.com. Headroom is a really important concept for recording and mixing and mastering music, especially because we're recording music, putting it into a computer. And when we do that, we need to abide by the rules of that computer and the rules of digital audio. When you've been making music, working on music in your workstation, you've probably noticed that the meters have a top level of 0, and then all the numbers reduce and lower below 0. There might be a region above that, say +3 or +6 or +12, but that 0 level is really important. That is a really hard ceiling, an inflexible ceiling for digital audio. And you want to make sure that when you export or you bounce your music, that everything is below that. Otherwise, it will be kind of like this screen. If there's a hard edge up here, if I were to go above it, then my head or my shoulders would disappear. They would no longer be part of the picture at all. And same with digital audio. Anything that is above 0 would just be clipped off and the audio would be distorted. So you do want to make sure that you avoid that. You might have noticed, oh, well, it doesn't really change when I'm working within the workstation. If the levels go above 0 and the meters start going red, that's because if you're working with 24-bit or 32-bit audio, that's called floating point, and the workstation is able to manage that and make sure that the audio doesn't clip. But if you were to export that audio, it would clip. When you're monitoring your levels, whether you're recording or mixing or mastering, then the headroom is determined by the relation between the nominal level, the average level, and that 0 dB point. So if you have a track that the volume is coming out at about -10 or -12, then you've got about 10 decibels of headroom. And so that allows for any super dynamic moments in the track to happen without crossing over that 0 decibel line. It allows for space to have surprise moments in the track potentially, so that if the nominal level is around 10, then it's okay. There's enough room there for that dynamism to occur without running into any trouble. What you might find while you're mixing is that the headroom might be eaten up by lower frequency content in your tracks, especially lower frequency content that is not actually helpful to the track. So if you were to consider maybe practicing managing that lower frequency content, I think you'll find that the more detailed parts of the frequency spectrum are then able to become louder, and you'll get fuller sounding, louder overall mixes just by managing and controlling that lower frequency content. It doesn't mean that you have to low cut absolutely everything. It just means that you want to make sure that it's controlled enough so that the more detailed and more dynamic parts of the track are allowed to occupy the higher parts of the volume of that track. Headroom is a fairly straightforward concept, but it's a really important one. So if you see your meters going into the red, make sure just to pull them down, because we want to make sure that our audio is coming out of the workstation healthy and in the green and not distorted and not clipping. That 0 level is a hard ceiling, so we do need to make sure that we abide by it. So just keep your eyes peeled for that red, but it's not something that you need to be concerned over or worrying over so much. As long as it's below that, then you're all good. Have fun.